If it hurts, you ain't afraid to go get you, know it up, put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, through the game, tackle, this win it is. First you again, we're here for the first minute. Can everybody give you that 6 minutes?
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
I know everybody thinks it's cliche, but, I truly believe in my heart, that we all are blessed just to have the opportunity to be at the University of Tennessee. We've had some guys in the past that always felt like Tennessee was blessed to have us, and that's not the case, So these guys, I think they're believing in what we're doing, how we're doing things, that they understand it's bigger than us as individuals. It's bigger than me as Coach G. It's bigger than Coach Banks. It's bigger than Coach Eck. It's bigger than any one of them. It begins with the T and ends with the T.
Yeah, again, I think we should really have the best defensive line in the country. I feel really good about our depth that we're building. I feel really strongly about, their attitude and the determination that those guys have played with. And again, I'm not even talking as much about football, just great guys. They're great human beings, and, they've really worked hard. And, as coaches, we want to see guys develop and reach their full potential.
99% of the people in this world want to be great. Would you agree with that? Yeah, they're called wannabes. 1% work to be great. Drop the mic on that.
Tony Swanson says, SJD, will you ever go back on the Talkin VAWLS network?
Ooh, I like Talkin VAWLS. I think that's Boogie Bentley running the show over there, man. That's he's awesome at what he does. We actually were trying to get on his show during their stream for charity. Ended up not happening just by nature of the schedules conflicting. But yeah, absolutely we'll make that happen here in the near future. Boogie does an awesome job, and they do an awesome job over there on that platform. So yeah, without question. Without question.
Do you remember when we fell in love? I remember, don't worry. Do you remember? I remember how it all began. How could I ever forget? It's the first time. Do you remember? I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it coming in the air now. I can feel it in hands. I can feel it. I can feel it coming in the air now. Hold on. We fell in love. You remember time. How could I ever forget? You remember time. Hold on. We fell in love. You remember time. How could I ever forget? Coming in the air now.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS. Oh God, I can't do this, man. Like I can't. I'm going to give this a good Butch Jones 63 effort today. I'm going to give it a Butch Jones 63 effort.
And you have to not lose the game before you can ever win the game.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. Spring is in the air. Sickness is also in the air, but we don't care, man. No days off around here. We're going to talk about Scrimmage. Number one, it's a big part of spring camp, man. When you get a scrimmage and you get the news and the notes and the rumors floating around, we're going to jump on here. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk a little recruiting tonight. Always want to talk a little recruiting when we are on basically the eve of a big-time in-state prospect. We'll talk about Ethan Utley just a little bit. Got an injury that I want to break down with these guys because I think it is a big injury, and we'll kind of break down that running back room. We'll talk a little transfer portal, and then, of course, we are going to get into this scrimmage that took place earlier today. Dauber, you're looking like a rock star. You got one of my favorite hats in the history of Tennessee on. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. Better than you sound.
Oh, well, I feel great. I sound I don't know what I sound like. It ain't good. Coach Rice is in the house. What's up, my friend? How you doing?
All done much. Ready to talk some football. I've got several notes I want to mention, and I'm ready to get to them.
I am too, man. We were talking right before we went live. Kind of weird. Kind of eerie. Tennessee social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, nothing about today's scrimmage. And we know how Josh Hypel is. We know how football coaches are in general. They want to keep everything secretive, not let anything out. But we've got a lot of news and notes that we're going to get into. Rocky Top Tom, is this your debut? I think this is your debut of not being on a fan call-in show. Look, you earn your keep around here. Coach Rice came from the fan call-in show. Coach Jay, fan call-in show. X Factor, fan call-in show. Rocky Top Tom has earned his keep. Coach Jay is traveling. I said, Tom, what are you doing on Wednesday night? How you doing, brother? Are you excited to be on here? Your debut episode. And he's muted. How is he muted? I feel like Coach
so
Jay
sorry. Yep, that's my bad. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I'm just happy to be along for the ride, for real.
Are we going to have technical difficulties? We got to echo. Do you have headphones?
I do not, but I can turn this down, and I reckon
Let's see if that fixed it. Yeah, the echo's gone now, so you're good.
how
All right,
about
let's
that?
run down the chat. Let's see who's hanging out tonight. Appreciate you guys coming in to talk a little spring camp with us. We got 100 people watching right now. Hit the thumbs up, share out the link, let people know we're live. We would greatly appreciate it. We're also going to be live. I wanted to do a basketball watch party. I'm dying. I think I have COVID. I may have a heart attack before I wake up tomorrow. We're not doing a basketball watch party. I ain't staying up until midnight to watch basketball. I'm sorry, but we're going to be live Sunday fan call-in show at 7 o'clock. If the basketball team makes it to the Elite Eight, we'll do a watch party for that. If you don't like that, I'm sorry. David Burgess, you can go to VolQuest.com. VolQuest.com. They'll have all your basketball coverage. David was here bright and early. What's up, my friend? Good to see you in the chat. Matt was here. Brad Burnett. Where were you at last night, Brad? Where you been, Brad? You're not commenting on videos. You weren't here for Tuesday night, but at least you're here tonight. Fish and Beans is here. What's up, my friend? Black Metal Banjo says, what up, Ball family? Vintage Creative says, what's up? I think that's Crystal under a secret name. What's it called? What's it called when you're in trouble with the government or somebody help me?
An alias.
No. Witness protection. So that's not Crystal. That's Vintage Creative. Tony Canada's here. What's up, my friend? Kenny Davis in the house. Guys, come on in. Smash the thumbs up. Share it out. We would appreciate all that support. That's quick, free, and easy. You want to drop a super chat. You want to change gears. Tell us what to talk about. We'll do that as well. Will Murley, been a member for 29 months. Shout out, Will. Appreciate that support. Ginger becomes a member of the channel at the Talkin VAWLS Elite level. Shout out, Ginger. Come back Sunday night, fan call-in show. You can jump on here and talk some Tennessee football with us. If you're not a member, you can fix that by hitting the join button down below. All right, let's get into it. Let's kick this thing off. I want to talk a little recruiting. I know Dauber and Tom don't really get into recruiting much, but we got a big one coming up tomorrow, Coach Rice. Ethan Utley, big-time in-state prospect, one of the best players in the state of Tennessee, 4-star defensive lineman. What are your overall thoughts of Ethan Utley as a player, and then we'll kind of get into his recruitment?
Well, I think he's very raw potential. I think his upside is nowhere plus he's a high schooler, but, he's got some very high upside to be an elite SEC defensive lineman. He's got size that you want out of that 5 technique / maybe interior defensive tackle. Now, I wouldn't say I don't see him lining up ever at the nose, but I can see him sliding around a little bit. Got quick feet, very twitchy, uses his hands well. Got a great swim move. I mean, as a freshman, as a high schooler, I've seen on his film. He uses it often, actually. Can get around those long tackles or guards and just make a quick move and get to the quarterback. He's a good run stopper from the film I've seen. So someone that Rodney Garner you want to see work on. I mean, guy that just give Rodney Garner his chance to coach him up, and I think he's going to be an elite player.
Well, I think that's the key right here. I mean, you've got an athletic kid in state with a huge ceiling and upside, all the talent and potential in the world. Man, what better place to come to than the University of Tennessee and be coached up by, one of the best in the game.
Yeah.
Hone his craft, get better, and work his way to playing on Sunday. And it boils down to, man, we've had some previous coaching staffs that really neglected the in-state kids.
Yeah.
And that's something, Tennessee is not the wealth of talent that some of these other states have, but there's some good kids in the state. And we need to do our damnedest to keep those kids at home. How many times have we been in a game and seen these kids that grow up? And I know we've talked about it shifting, and there's not much allegiance, and that's changing. But look back at some of these kids that came for a visit to Tennessee. We got a picture of them in the locker room, and then they ended up going somewhere else and playing really well or playing really well against us. And that's, with Ethan Utley right here, I think that's one of the things that this staff is making important, a 4-star kid and like we said, a lot of talent, but that's a type. We talked about it last week. This coaching staff, they evaluate talent, but they also evaluate the character and the type of person they want in the program.
Yeah, we got to lock down those in-state kids for sure. That's why we used to be so good for so long. We locked down the state of Tennessee, and then we also started creeping into South Carolina, Georgia, getting some kids out of Florida. But you're right, Dauber. I mean, there were a couple of guys in the early 2000s that came out of Tennessee or after 2010 that did really well against us for Georgia and Alabama. They used to burn me up. I'd be sitting there in the stands watching them. I don't remember the names right off the top of my head, but everybody would be talking about it because everybody used to keep up with the recruits that we lost. But yeah,
I love the clip I played from Coach G at the top of the show about how the Power T is like we should be honored to be playing for the T, and the T is bigger than all of us. And like he was even talking about, like, he met with the media, I think it was after practice number 4, and like I'm telling you, I could listen to Rodney Garner talk all day. It's a 15-minute interview, and it's so good. Like right out of the chute, Brent Hubbs said, what do you think about Tim Banks saying this is the best defensive line in the country? And his response was, didn't know he said that. We're not giving anything. We got to go out and earn it, right? And then somebody else asked him about playing time. Some of these upperclassmen, they're guaranteed their playing time. What about these young guys and blah, blah, blah? And Coach G's like, nobody's guaranteed anything around here. The best man will play. Like, I don't care if you're an upperclassman, if you're a freshman, the best guy will play. And then he even went on to talk about BY. He's like, I don't get to watch the NFL much. I love BY, obviously. Did great things here. Everybody's talking about how many sacks he had as a rookie in the NFL. The game I got to watch, he got exposed because they ran the football at him all day long. And he's got to be better at that. It's like Coach G is always coaching, and I love him for that. And something I like about Ethan Utley's recruitment is Texas was starting to put on a lot of steam, and then Rodney Garner turned up the volume and said, come to Tennessee. And I think that's the difference. I think Ethan Utley is trending to Tennessee. I made a video on that a couple of days ago. If you missed it, go back and give it a watch. He's going to be making his decision tomorrow. I don't know what time. If he announces a time, me and Coach Jay will be live streaming that. If not, we'll have a video ready once he makes that decision. Dropped his top 5 back on Christmas Day. Michigan, Oklahoma, Syracuse, Tennessee, Texas. I think Tennessee is in a good spot here to land Ethan Utley, a big time prospect in state. What do you think, Coach Rice? You think Tennessee comes way on top? And it's
Yeah.
interesting timing. He wanted to make the decision because his birthday's tomorrow. He has an official visit scheduled to Texas in the summer. It'll be interesting to see if he takes that visit. He's also visiting Tennessee as well, but that's just something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I think we lock him down. I mean, it's a high school kid. You got. I think he's one of these that I think we hold on to. You got the best. What's that? I had an echo.
I think it's Tom.
It's gone.
It's clear now.
Okay. All right. So, but the thing is with Utley, the roster, you look at the roster, you have Bryson Easton, Amari Thomas, Elijah Simmons, and Omar Norman Lott, all going to be off the board after this year. A, you get to come in, get to play under the best defensive line coach in the country.
Mm-hmm.
B, you get to represent your state and play for the Power T. And C, you have a chance if you come in, bust your ass, and getting Rodney Garner's good graces to have a chance at early playing time. So, and we've seen Rodney Garner will do that. He played David Hobbs a little bit sparingly last year, gave him a chance to get out there and prove himself. Tyree Weathersby was going to get that opportunity before he went down with injury last year. I think Ethan Utley is going to be a major get. I do think Tennessee is trending very high for Ethan Utley and coming tomorrow.
Again, we're going to be covering that tomorrow right here on the channel, whether that's live or we drop a video as soon as he makes that decision. So make sure you guys are looking for that. Something else I wanted to talk about before we kind of get into scrimmage number 1 that took place earlier this morning. This is what I made a video on this earlier today. If you missed it, go back and watch it. You don't have to, because I want to talk about it here. That's what I like to do. I like to get everybody's opinion on the live streams. Austin Price put this out, breaking: Tennessee running back Cam Seldon to miss the rest of spring practice with a shoulder injury. And it's kind of been weird, right? Because we kind of been talking about this the last few days, because Cam Seldon randomly wasn't at practice. And that gets noted in practice reports, and it's an injury. But how many times have we been told it's an injury and it's off-field issues, right? And you're always speculating, because if he's a little banged up, they say, oh, he's a little banged up, he'll be back in a couple of days, it's no big deal. So for me, I'm looking at it, I'm going, it's either a big injury and he's going to miss significant amount of time, or it's an off-the-field issue. And we're kind of speculating back and forth what's going on. We get the confirmation today. Had shoulder surgery. Per VolQuest, he's going to be back this fall. You got to question how quickly he can get back to 100%. But Dauber, I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on this? Cam Seldon, you're looking at a 1-2 punch, right? You're looking at Dylan Sampson and Cam Seldon for 2024. And I know there's other running backs in the room. It's kind of why I wanted Jabari Small to come back for one last ride. I get it. Sometimes people want to move on. Maybe he tries to be a free agent. Maybe he goes and he's an insurance salesman. I have no idea what Jabari Small's future is. I think he could have come back to Tennessee, and I think he could have contributed to this football team in 2024, because when you look at the running back room, yeah, you got Khalifa Keith. You got Deshaun Bishop. Those guys don't pop off the page to me as elite running backs the way that Cam Seldon and Dylan Sampson do. You've also got Peyton Lewis. That's a true freshman who is also missing spring practice. So does this injury concern you going into 2024 when you're looking at basically Dylan Sampson and who else?
It does. It makes you question the depth. Spring practice is good for getting reps. And getting we've talked much about the offense before. This is going to be a completely new offense. It's going to be geared towards Nico. You saw what Hype did last year. They went run heavy because they didn't have a lot of faith in Joe Milton. I think you're not going to have to rely on the running backs quite as much with Nico. However, it's a good luxury to have, a couple good guys, a couple of those good horses in the stable, and I think behind Sampson, Seldon was going to get a lot of run. Hopefully it is it is not something that takes him out, beyond spring, into fall, lurking, hanging around for the first couple of games next year. Hopefully he does bounce back quickly. But yeah, it definitely questions the depth. And it makes me wonder if this staff is going to hit the portal and kind of look for somebody to have insurance policy. What? Am I good?
Not really.
You're in and out, Dauber.
In and out. All right.
Well, while Dauber's getting that fixed, what I would say with the running back room, Cam Seldon is, yes, he's very elite, very high talent. Is a guy that we are wanting to come in and make an impact, be that running back number 2. Guys like Khalifa Keith, Deshaun Bishop. Unfortunately, Peyton Lewis is out this spring, so he don't get that opportunity. But Khalifa Keith and Deshaun Bishop, this is their time. I know Deshaun Bishop last spring took advantage of it. Well, can he repeat that? Can he come in this spring and say, hey, I know I was a low-ranked recruit. Let me show what I can do. And he's an in-state guy. I know the guys around the Tennessee running back room respect him and want to see him succeed. So, hey, I want my opportunity. Let me come in there and do what I can do, show you what I could do. And I have full faith in Coach Hypel on this offense. There's not much a running back could do to go wrong in this offense because you play with so much space available and so much you're targeting an area that you're trying to hit when these tackles wrap around or these tackles trap end or something. You're hitting that spot, and as long as you're not baby stepping around, be patient, get in there, hit your cut, hit your target area that you're supposed to hit, and you're going to get your space as long as you're not missing. The key thing is pass protection. And we've seen where Dylan Sampson has struggled. Do we think he's improved some? Maybe a little bit. That was, I think, a big targeting point for him this offseason. Say, hey, I'm the primary back. I better improve my pass protection. And then Keith being that 6'2", 225-pound running back, that heavy dog. To get in there and, get physical. Deshaun Bishop being that more all-around back, someone that could, run up the middle but also be a scat back type. He's not the fastest guy, but definitely has a skill set. So there's room there, especially to let Keith, and I know is that Nelson from Jackson? Ain't that Nelson from Jackson?
No. He likes to give me a hard time because look, I call a spade, man. I call a spade a spade. Who jumps off the page, boys? Who jumps off the page when they commit? Is it Cam Seldon or is it Khalifa Keith? Is it Deshaun Bishop? You want to know what the hats were on the table when Deshaun Bishop committed to Tennessee? All y'all that get mad,
Carolina.
all y'all that hate.
Yeah.
There was an App State hat on the table, boys. App State, Coastal Carolina. Now, that said, Brent Hubbs basically said he thinks Deshaun Bishop was the next man up. He thinks it was Dylan Sampson, Cam Seldon, and then Deshaun Bishop. And I think he's shown up a little bit throughout his limited time at Tennessee. And hopefully, man, I would love nothing more than for Deshaun Bishop or Khalifa Keith, one of those guys, to prove me wrong. All I'm saying is I would have felt way more confident in this running back room, Tom, I'll throw this to you, if Jabari Small had come back. And because of that, like if Jabari, like last year we had a 1-2-3 punch, right? You had Jabari Small and people slept on him, man. People love to hate on Jabari Small. That dude was an asset. He was an asset to the running back room. And you had 3 dudes you could rely on. It's a physical, violent game. To me, I think
You
Tennessee
get beat up
needs
in
to-
the SEC. Yeah.
I think they need to look to the portal, Tom, post spring, because right now and I saw Tennessee royalty in the chat said, "Mark my words, everyone going to be on Cam Seldon's jock after the first game. What if he's not playing in the first game? He may not be back by the first game. Shoulder surgery is real, like rehab. What do you think, Tom? Do you think they need to look to the portal? It's going to be the Wild West after spring practice."
Well, we know how Coach Hypel likes to play these cards close to the chest with the injuries too. I mean, look at what happened with Cooper Mays in the last offseason. And he played that one real close. And we didn't see him till what, week 5, week 4, something like that, week 5. I mean, but we do have good depth. I mean, Khalifa Keith is huge. I want to see what Dylan Sampson can do if they just feed him the rock, 25 times a game.
1,200. Wait,
Yeah.
whoa, Tom. Is this a Tuesday night on NCAA? 25 carries? If Dylan Sampson got 25 carries a game,
he'd get more
1,500 yards.
Yeah.
1,500 yards.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry. You got me excited. You got me excited.
Yeah. I'm just thinking best case scenario, man. I mean, we had I forget who the two backs were. Early 2000s, we had two backs, Gerald, somebody.
Riggs and Travis.
Yeah, Riggs. And oh my God, I can see that guy's face. Cedric Houston. And they both had correct me if I'm wrong, but they both had 1,000 yards in one season, didn't they?
Yeah. That's
yeah.
right.
I mean, we could have that. That's why we used to be so good. And that's why I love Coach Hypel so much is he runs the football. And you said it a few minutes ago, Coach Rice, the space. Run to this spot. The offensive line's going to open the hole for you. You just got to get there. And that's why Dylan Sampson did so well against Kentucky last year because they were trying to make nice guy, not a quarterback, Joe Milton. They were trying to make Joe Milton beat him. And
wow.
Yeah.
Nice guy, not a quarterback. Coach Rice, throw a dart at the dartboard. That might not be a dart. That might be a bomb thrown at the dartboard.
They were trying to make Joe Milton beat him, and they just left that run game wide open, and Dylan Sampson ran all over him. I love it, but I do want to see what Khalifa Keith can do. And when Peyton Lewis gets healthy, I want to see what he can do too, because he's the other one that's got size, right? The freshman that's got size.
Speed. To me, if Peyton Lewis had got an opportunity to go through spring camp, I think he would have passed up Deshaun Bishop and Khalifa Keith. I think he would have been RB3, and that's why I had a little bit of confidence about the running back room and the depth, because I thought Peyton Lewis could be that guy, and you didn't really have to lean on him or rely on him, but you kind of hoped, he would add depth if you needed him. The fact that he's missing spring too. Yes,
2022
exactly.
Dylan Sampson.
Yeah, exactly. But he's not going through spring either. So and that's what somebody said in one of my videos I made. They basically said, "Oh, we're fine, Boogie. We got Deshaun Bishop, Khalifa Keith, and Peyton Lewis. Peyton Lewis." Man, like, y'all understand, like, shout out, by the way, to Brian Staley in the chat. I always love when Brian pops in here. You know how rare it is for a true freshman to get a bunch of attention? Like, it's tough. It is tough to come in the SEC and be a dude as a true freshman. But everybody's talking about Braylon Staley, and everybody – spoiler alert for the Josh Hypel press conference we're going to watch here in just a little bit. He mentioned Boo Carter twice. Twice, Coach Rice.
Yeah.
You
and Mike Matthews. He mentioned Mike Matthews too.
So. He sure did.
Yeah, so I'm excited, man. I love the young talent on this football team. I think there's a ton of opportunity in 2024. I think post-spring transfer portal is a huge opportunity. Let me hit this super chat from Shot by Andrew. Drops a $2 tip in the tip jar. Says, "What's up, y'all?" I appreciate that, Shot by Andrew, because we got 161 people that snuck in and didn't pay a door fee. And right now, I've got the electric companies on the phone saying, "Boogie, we're about to turn off your power. You can't afford the bills because everybody sneaks into your show, and we're sorry." But thank you, Shot by Andrew. We appreciate it. Tips are welcome here. But if not, smash the thumbs up, share out the link, let somebody know we're live. We would greatly appreciate it. All right, we've talked about the injury to Cam Seldon. We've talked about Ethan Utley, who's going to be committing tomorrow. We'll have that covered right here on the channel. The big news of the day, scrimmage number 1 is in the books. It's kind of limited, right? Media can't have access. Like, there's nobody in there. We were lucky last year. We had a high school coach that came on. He was anonymous, and he was at the camp and witnessed the entire scrimmage. Shout out to Coach T. I wish we could have got him on tonight. But I think the camp, maybe Hypel got word. Hey, they're on Talkin VAWLS talking about the scrimmage, so y'all can come during practice. Y'all ain't coming to the scrimmage. But you guys do the same as I do. You read all the notes, the reviews, all that type of stuff. Coach Rice, what were your overall takeaways today from what you've read or seen or heard?
Yeah. Well, I mean, several good takeaways. I mean, I think both sides had some positives come out of the scrimmage. I know the defensive line, there's a lot of praise there, which is, we all knew that was going to come into play. Heard a lot about Hurd being great, and just he's going to fill the role at left tackle. He's going to you get Tennessee fans. You do not have to worry about left tackle this year. I'm not saying he can't have a bad player here and there because everybody does. I'm not saying he's the next, whoever the greatest left tackle is all time, but I'm saying he's going to be really good for Tennessee football this coming season at left tackle. And the young guys, the athleticism, and it's not just the guys that you think, the guys like Boo Carter and Mike Matthews, who you expect to hear about because they're young and new and 5 stars, close to 4, but we've been hearing about Braylon Staley. He's had an awesome spring camp. I think he's pushing Squirrel White, which is awesome for Squirrel.
I love it. I
love every second of it. Competition breeds greatness. So you got that going. You got Mike Matthews making plays on the outside. Said he took one to the house from Gaston Moore for 80 yards. I mean, just for 80 yards, you not only do you have to make the catch, but you evidently he had to, have some burners. So that's that, and probably had to make a guy or two miss. And then John Slaughter, the forgotten dude in the back secondary that a lot of people don't talk about because we had Jacoby Thomas come in and transfer, Andre Turntine back there at safety. John Slaughter says, "Hold my beer. I'm getting me some playing time this fall, and you better count me in at safety because this spring he's been one of the top safeties that's been talked about the whole time." And you see Boo Carter making plays at safety, and I still think at some point they try to find the best way to get him on the field, whether it be star, whether it be safety. I just think it may not be first 2. I think he'll get some reps, but whether he's in the starting lineup first few games, I don't see that because you do have those veterans back there. But when you have an electric playmaker that just knows what to do when the lights come on, you got to find a way to put him in the game. And I've called it all year. Like Boogie, you saw it live. You saw him in person, just being a beast. And I know high school to SEC football is completely different, but still, it's all about what you are in as a player. And Eric Berry was one of those. I'm not saying he's Eric Berry, but I'm just saying he's got the same makeup as the Eric Berry-esque. He's a playmaker. You want him on the field. He's the guy that he does so many good things well. And yes, he had a few bumps in the road the first week as far as eye discipline and the speed making up of that eye discipline. But man, I'm just so looking forward to seeing him in orange and white this fall, and several of the other younger guys. But my biggest key coming out of the first scrimmage would probably be the young talent flashing and the defensive line just doing what the defensive line is supposed to do.
Shout out to April Slaughter. I'm assuming that's family. I don't know if that's mama, but I'm with you, man. I love the young talent, and
Yeah.
I think Boo could possibly get on the field at the star position. You know, I mean, you look at that position specifically. It's a little thin. I think you got a walk on Will Brooks in the 2 deep. I think Boo could possibly work his way in there. And, you know, yeah, I did get to see him live. It's different, man. It's different when you watch film versus getting to watch a dude for a full football game. And like him and Marcus Gorey Jr. both, they were the 2 best players on the field.
Yeah.
I put up 3 fingers. I don't know why, but they were the 2 best players on the field. Like their football IQ. And it wasn't just not just their football IQ, but also their confidence, man, right? That like they knew that they were the dudes. They were the best guys on the field. They could walk down to the line of scrimmage. It's like, you want to beat me over the top? Try it. You want to run the football to my side? I dare you. Like they were both so physical in the run game, both so good in coverage. Boo, man, Boo. He I know we need him on defense. God, man, he was something. Yeah. He was something with the ball in his hands, but that excites me too because he's in the return game, right? He's going to be able to make plays in the return game. Tom, what were your takeaways from scrimmage number 1? The news, the notes, what you took away?
I was mostly paying attention to the offensive and defensive line. Coach Rice was talking about sharpening against each other with the secondary and the receivers. The offensive and defensive line, what better defensive line could you want to get sharp on other than 8, 9, 10 different guys that we got that Rodney Garner's putting in a rotation? Now, they can't all be getting all the reps on the offensive line because we don't have secure depth. I mean, we got bodies that we can put in there, but who knows if they're going to be near as good on the starting offense as the guys that we've got out there right now. But yeah, I mean, they're getting better. They're getting better. I like that they're talking about, like you guys were talking about it the other night, a couple of different guys like Umarov getting a couple of snaps at center just to see what he can do. Yeah, I really think we're going to push people around on the offensive line this year. And the defense, if they can't be one of the better defenses in the SEC because of the up the middle pressure and the edge rush that they're going to get, I don't know who could be a better defense than that, really. And with Boo Carter, if he does see the field getting in the star position or a spy or something, you play a real athletic quarterback, put him on the quarterback. You play a team that's got the star receiver that's going first in the NFL next year after 5 games, everybody's talking about him, put him on that guy. You know, if he really is going to be that good.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you that guy that's going to be covering that star wide receiver that's for Georgia, Alabama, or whoever, it's going to be Jermiah McCoy because that dude.
I hope so. I'm excited about him, and I forgot about him. Yeah.
Seeing him in practice, that dude looks like SEC stud. And going back to what you were talking about, sharpens, competition sharpens you. Just imagine this lineup in practice. It's a drill. You got James Pierce on one side. You got Zlance Hurd on one side. And they're going against each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think at some point Hurd's going to bring it this year. But we all know what Pierce is. He's going to be a future top 3 pick. And Hurd, I think, is a future top 5, top 10 pick. Them two going against each other, that's 2 NFL bodies going against each other, making each other better.
Even the young guys, though. Even the young guys. The young guys on the offensive line. That's something Volquest was talking about. Shout out Volquest. All I do is rip off Volquest, also promote them more than probably anybody else on the planet. Shout out Kaner for the shirt. Love it, man. Appreciate it, brother. But they were talking about how this offensive line, and you've got Spraggs out, right? You got Coop on a snap count. Like you've got dudes that are out, and you're having to go against what Tim Banks called the best defensive line in the country. That's how you get better. And, Glenn Ellerby was like, it's going to be hard at times. Like, we're going to struggle. We're going to struggle at times, but this is going to make us better. When you're going against the best of the best every single day in practice, you got no choice but to get better. Like that's the only option. Shout out to Wayne Starnes, drops a $5 super chat. We appreciate that tip in the old tip jar. What do we got? We got let's see here. Is somebody's chicken done? We got 200 people watching live. Appreciate you guys hanging out on this Wednesday night, talking all things Tennessee football. Did I say something to offend Dauber?
I think he just gave up on it.
He just said, I'm quitting. I give up. We're talking all things spring football. We're going to talk about scrimmage number 1. That's what we're doing right now. Tony Canada also drops a $5 super chat. We appreciate that, boys. Every tip in the tip. I see what Tony did. Wayne had the biggest super chat of the night, and Tony said, no, Boogie, I want my name on the leaderboard. I'm going to give you 1 penny more so I can take the leaderboard for the night. So shout out, Tony. We appreciate the super chat, brother. For me, just kind of reading what VolQuest put out, going to GoVols 247, reading all the practice reports. Again, not a whole lot out there on social media. Nico is him. VolQuest basically said he showed command. He was in control of the offense. Austin Price said he improvises. He checks down when he needs to. He makes plays on the fly. Yeah. He said this offense is going to do the things they did in 2022. Now, I know Rocky Top Tom threw a gigantic grenade at Joe Milton and said he's a nice guy, but he's not a football player, not a quarterback. I don't want to put words.
Yeah, there we go. He could be a heck of a wingback. He really could. You put the ball in his hand.
You want to move him to tight end? Bottom line is this offense struggled in 2023 because Joe wasn't Hendon Hooker. Guess what? Joe also wasn't Nico. And I think it's something we've talked a lot about on this channel the last couple of months. I think this offense is going to be what it was in 2022. So listening to Coach Rice talk about John Slaughter and talk about some of the guys in the secondary and how this may be the best defensive line in the country. We got Keenan Peely. He's 47 years old. He's got 3 grandkids. That's a leader. Arian Carter, Jeremiah Thielander. We got some legitimate dudes at linebacker. I think this defense, as they've done every year under Tim Banks, I think they're going to take another step and get even better in 2024. So I think in 2024 we may have that 2022 offense with an even better defense. And that Tom, that is how we take the next step.
Absolutely. And it's got to balance out too, because last year, what'd you see? A lot of 3 and outs on offense. And then that defense starts sucking wind halfway through the second quarter because they're already gassed. So you got to find that balance for sure. I mean, and on the other side of that, you can't have I know it's kind of silly to say this, but you kind of want your defense to maybe give them 1 first down so that your offense can come off the field and get, a minute, because the other team's going to try to get through. But yeah, you got to find the balance. And think about this. You just hit it on a second ago, Boogie. Nico is possibly just as good as Hendon, and the offense possibly looking just as good as 22. What if it's better? We had 2 really good offensive linemen on that 22 class, and we didn't have near as much depth, and 2 entire 3 groups of receivers, a first line and a second line with different play packages. They didn't have that 2 years ago. They had 2 really solid receivers, but one of them missed half the year. And then you had a couple of really good tailbacks, but they got dinged up a little bit. And, they had a little bit of cough in the ball syndrome for a few games. But, they could be even better. That'd be amazing to see. It'd really be something. It really would be.
Well, I think Nico is very eerily similar to Hendon Hooker with his ability to escape pressure, make plays, backyard football, improvise. That was the word that AP used. I think that gives you a different level to your offense. Do they have a Jalen Hyatt? I don't know. We'll see. What's the running back room look like? I don't know. We'll see. But I think overall they have an opportunity to be similar to that 22 offense. Go ahead, Coach.
I think Squirrel White has all the capability in the world to be that slot receiver, and Braylon Staley. We've seen Josh Hypel when he's got a QB that plays the system the way Josh Hypel masters it. He's going to get guys wide open, and when you have elite speed like Squirrel White is equal to Jalen Hyatt speed wise. That's to the point where you're saying, you can give me Nico, let him go deal the rock, and now Hypel is using his whole playbook.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee got predictable last year. I hate to say that, but they did.
It's the reality, man.
Did we really?
Yeah.
But let me say this. Let me throw a counter argument. Josh Hypel knew what he had.
Yeah, no,
and he like, how many coaches have we had at Tennessee that don't adapt? Like, people like to say, "Oh, I'm going to get the balls to my playmaker. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that," and then they don't. Yeah. Whereas Josh Hypel's like, "This is the personnel that I've got. This is what's going to give us the best chance to win." I think that's what Josh Hypel truly believed. Was he too loyal to Joe? Maybe. We'll never know. We'll never know. That's the direction he chose to go. He stayed loyal to Joe, and I think that maybe built the culture even stronger.
Yeah.
And it's going to benefit us in the long run. And we're coming off of a 9-win season where we're bitching and complaining when we've not had many of those, boys. We ain't had many of those in the last 24 years. Yeah. So, not to derail you, Coach Rice, but I think Josh Hypel, you almost got to praise him for that, right?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. You have to. With what you had in Joe Milton, you had a hard worker. You had someone that did not give up on Tennessee.
Love it.
And then at the same time, he did nothing but learn the whole time he was there. And that's under Hendon Hooker. He took a step back. He learned from him. He said, "What do I got to do to better myself?" The whole time he tried to improve. Did he take the steps that we thought he would take? From what we saw, no. But he busted his tail trying to get there.
He gave his all. He's to sign any minute.
Yeah.
And that might have been one of the reasons that they didn't do as poorly as they could have. What you just said right there, that might be the reason, in combo with what you just said too, Boogie. The loyalty that Coach Hypel showed him, and even if he didn't have what it took to quite beat Alabama or do a little bit better on some of the early series and not go 3-0, he still busted it. He really did. And I mean, the guys probably rallied around that, and they performed a little better than they possibly could have if he was carrying them, because they got to step up. And we saw some really good plays out of Squirrel White last year. So I think you might be right about that, Coach. Yeah.
Dude, and I'm telling you, this wide receiver room, and I've been one of the guys that I've been hoping and saying that I hope they go 6 deep, because you got the guys like Braylon Staley, you got the Dante Thorntons who's been showing out.
And so is Chris Brazell. So is Chris Brazell.
I hope they keep it up, and I would love nothing but for Dante Thornton to come in this next year and go, "Hey, that was just a fluke year. I was dealing with injuries. I had changed positions. Let me get to my outside position where I'm more comfortable at, and I'm going to go be a top, wide receiver prospect." Mm-hmm. So, and I'd love nothing but that. And same thing with Brazil, man. I'm telling you, Brew McCoy, Dante Thornton, and Brazil, Mike Matthews subbing for and Caleb Webb for Brew McCoy. Then you got Squirrel, Brew, and Chaz in the slot. I'll just name 9 guys.
And Braylon Staley. I think Braylon Staley. He's going to be behind Squirrel. I think he's number 2 in the slot. I really do.
I do too. And so that's 9 guys there that you're like, we got to find playing time for. And so, but that's where guys got to know their role and got to learn to develop and know that their time will come. Even if you're Mike Matthews and Braylon Staley, maybe you do earn that job. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's a slap in the face to Squirrel White, say, I got to be better. I got to do better. And that's what we've talked about this whole time about competition breeds greatness.
Yep.
And that's one thing. And another guy that I meant to mention earlier, Jackson Moy. Did y'all see that highlight play they had on Tennessee social media?
Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up because this is worth looking at. The only thing that scares me, it happened against Bison Lane.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that scares me.
But
let me get it pulled up.
Greatness.
Oh yeah.
Let me play it, Coach Rice, and then you can say what you want to say. All right, here we go. Here's the play he's talking about.
Watch it, man. It's her. He about to show y'all tonight.
I love Nico hyping him up.
Yeah. I love it.
That's domination.
I love it.
By the way,
that's
Coach G praised his toughness, his work ethic. He's a dude.
That is team. Everybody, like, I look that, like, highlights like that where the whole team just gets hyped as hell, and just, and he's a transfer that, is getting to know everybody. Like, he's getting his foot in the door, and for him to come in there, and that just makes Vice and Lang better. Hey, this dude just dogged me on social media. I got to better myself, so I'm not on some highlight reel again for some other dude. And dude, I love that. It literally gives me chills, y'all. And when I see that in football practice, at our practices, I'm literally one of those. I'm the Mike Eckler of our football practice. I'm up there headbutting people and everything.
16-year-old kids. He's headbutting 16-year-old kids, Tom.
Yeah, and it's just like, let's freaking go. And for a guy that was probably the most unheralded transfer that we had come in, and for him to be out there just making plays and, putting on a show, that just gives me chills, man. I love seeing it. And, you love to see that team chemistry being built like that.
Let me hit a super chat real quick. Good old Nate Pruitt's in the house. Shout out Nate, man. He put a picture perfect. Let me just share it. Let me go find good old Nate Pruitt. This was like, it might as well. I feel like I paid him for advertisement, and I'm not gonna be able to find it. I'm gonna have to go search for it. I feel like I had to pay him for advertisement. Let me go find it. I want to find it because it was like the perfect picture. Like, it was picture perfect picture perfect. You guys see what I did there? Here it is. Boom. All right, let me share this. Good old Nate Pruitt drops a $5 super chat. Says, cover charge Boogie. Howdy, Coach Rice, Coach Tom. God bless and go Vols. Good old Nate Pruitt tweeted this out. If you guys, anybody that shows up for the fan call-in shows Tuesday nights, you know the reason Nate has the name Good Old, because he always wears that cowboy hat. He looks like good old JR. If you are a wrestling fan, good old JR. He's got the cowboy hat, a Talkin VAWLS coffee cup, and oh man, he's representing the brand. Says finally came in. Check out Talkin VAWLS and Boogie Bentley for the best Vols show there is, riding with the brand. Shout out good old Nate Pruitt. Appreciate the super chat. Also appreciate the support, picking up the coffee cup. If you want one, you guys know where to go. You can go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. We got these brand new. Is this a Waffle House shirt?
That's my new order, but the sweatshirt, that exact blue with that pattern right there. But yeah, I think it's Waffle House checker Nealon-esque is the style of it.
You know what's weird is so much of our merchandise looks great.
There we go.
In blue, like in the navy blue color with the orange and white. It kind of pops. There's all kinds of styles, designs. As you're seeing right here, you can go in and customize whatever you want. The style, the color, the size, it's all there. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. That link's also in the description of the video. We appreciate you guys showing up, showing out, showing love. I love when you guys rep the merch. Like, if you buy merch, take a picture, man. Take a picture repping Talkin VAWLS. Post it on Twitter. Tag me at Boogie Bentley. I'm also on Facebook. You guys can send me a friend request. Just look it up, Boogie Bentley. We would appreciate it. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Coach Rice.
What's up?
What's your favorite Talkin VAWLS shirt? What's your favorite Talkin VAWLS shirt?
Favorite Talkin VAWLS shirt.
Man.
Is it Cultivate? This right here, honestly, I don't even like basketball. This is my favorite shirt.
That is a nice shirt.
I'm surprised I've not been sued yet because it's just it's an NBA Jam ripoff, but I still love it.
Honestly, it's a sleeper. I like that chosen one, but mine would be the old fashioned state logo pride. I know I'm old fashioned, but I
That's
love
the
that
best.
shirt.
It's the cleanest,
I love
cleanest
that shirt.
logo we have, man.
Yeah,
That is the cleanest logo we have.
That's the one I got right there. I got the gray, the light gray. Oh, I love that.
Nice.
I love it. It's so clean. But I ain't gonna lie. I've had so many compliments on that. Like, dude, where'd you get that hoodie, man? That shit clean. Excuse my language, but that shit clean.
That's
exactly that's the exact words I get all the time.
That baseball tee is dirty too with the actual baseball shirt. It's got a little bit of a shorter sleeve to it, but yeah, the baseball tee. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And look at that.
And with the home plate on it though, that one's dirty.
Oh, you want the baseball theme shirt? Yeah, I've left that in there. It's still in there. Shout out to Kevin. Kevin's in the chat. He designs everything. I send him a text. I'm like, this is what I'm thinking. I want the state of Tennessee outline, throw Talkin VAWLS in it. He's like, here it is. And then the Talkin VAWLS State Pride logo was born. And that's let's be honest. The hottest seller was Buck Fama because I said, I can't be offensive. My wife's like, you're not selling a shirt that says Buck Fama. I said, if they tell me to, I will. And she said, all right, if they demand it, you can do it. I said, we'll do a limited edition. It was the hottest selling shirt we've ever done, man. Hottest selling shirt ever. And then I like the letters theme shirt. And then as soon as we were working on the design for the letters theme shirt, and VolQuest put out this shirt. But they only give them to their hosts. Like they don't sell them. And Kaner sent me this one, so I got it. So I rep it on the show. Shout out Kaner. But let's see. We got Ron the Don for 10. Says, late Dorothy, fellas, I'm so ready to get this season jumping football. Yes, I heard you this morning, but use a little of this for some Terraflu. Coach Rice and Tom are rocking the show. Shout out Ron the Don. Is that the biggest donation of the night?
Ron the Don?
It is. Ron the Don, biggest donation of the night. We'll throw him on the old leaderboard here. Shout out Ron the Don. Man, I was walking around the house today talking in Ron the Don's voice. He just fires me up, man. Fires me up.
Yeah.
I was singing Feels Like 98. I love it, man. I love it. Shout out Ron the Don.
Picked up my guitar in almost probably 5 years. And when Ron the Don got up and started playing some guitar, it prompted me to pick it back up again and start playing. So thank you, Ron.
Ron's a legend, man. Like, during the season when he's on here for the tailgate shows, he's a legend. All right, we're almost an hour into this thing. I want to get to Coach Hypel's comments after the scrimmage because that kind of gives us a gauge where he's at, where he feels like this team's at. We're going to take a listen to that. You guys will do it right along with us. If you guys want to change gears, something you want to talk about, you guys know what to do. Drop those door fees, super chats, whatever you want to do. If not, hang out and we'll listen to Coach Hypel. Here we go. Audio's a little low. I'm sorry.
On campus for us, we got 15 former players that will be working out here in just a few minutes for Pro Day. Excited to see those guys, go through this part of the NFL experience. Guys that have helped us, turn this program around and been a huge part of winning a lot of football games. Also great this morning we were able to get into Neyland and go scrimmage for the first time here. We're 6 days in and great to see the competition, plays made on both sides of the football, and as much as anything, thought played extremely hard from snap to whistle. So a bunch that we'll learn from here as we continue to push after Easter break on the back end of spring ball. So open it up.
Real quick, Boogie, before he starts answering questions. Just to tap on the Pro Day thing just for a second, and then leading into the scrimmage. That, having that and then having the scrimmage, and those guys are there around the team when all that's going on. That's so big for program building.
And recruiting too, right?
Yeah, recruiting.
Like that's why it's on social media today, because that's recruiting.
Yeah, and so getting those guys to get ready for their next step in their lives. I heard several good things about the guys that went out there and competed and, showed what they have to offer the NFL or, other pro leagues. I think it's great for the Tennessee brand. You got the guys that have worked their tails off, been here for 5 years, 5, 6 years. And then you have the guys that transferred in and so forth. But just the building of the Tennessee brand, it's so those pro days and being able to see how hard they've worked to, imagine from where they came in as freshmen to where they are now. They're having their pro day. That's just it's hard to it's great for Josh Hypel to go to high school recruit and say, look at where this guy was as a sophomore when we got here to where they are now. I mean, that's just massive. And then to getting into the scrimmage, like he said, you really measure how hard a team works and what the team looks like on the first day. So we'll hear what he has to say the rest of it.
You talk about development in the NFL, and that's why they put so much focus on pro day.
Yep.
And I think it's huge that Jalen Wright, Kamal Hadden, Joe Milton all have an opportunity. Those are the big three that are being projected right now. And when you talk about wide receiver recruiting, and Coach Jay said this, might have been last Wednesday. Nobody remembers Peerless Price. Nobody remembers Jason Swain. Nobody remembers those guys. They're all looking at Jalen Hyatt, Bolitnikov Award winner. They're all looking at what he's done in the league. They're all looking at BY and what he did in the league as rookie. Darnell Wright, top 10 draft pick. That's huge. You got to continue to do that. I hope Jalen Wright gets drafted. They're predicting 3rd round right now. If he was a 2nd round draft pick, that would be huge. You got to continue to put guys in the league. That's why anytime you see Ohio State, you got to be concerned, man. Brian Hartline, you're recruiting a wide receiver. If Ohio State is recruiting them, that's a problem because Brian Hartline is regularly putting guys in the league. That's what won Carnell Tate, right? You just have to keep putting guys in the league. And pro day is important. I just don't really care about it because I know who Joe Milton is, and Joe Milton can walk out there and do backflips and say, I'm not really comfortable in up-tempo offense. I can take snaps under center. Watch this. Ollie, slap me the ball. And I'm like, I don't care, man. I've seen who Joe Milton is. So let a GM think that he can fix it. Best of luck. And that's not me. That was probably a little disrespectful. That was probably a little disrespectful. But I'm a Tom.
That's a healthy dose of realism right there,
yes,
man. It really is. It's not negativity. It's realism. And, the two guys that I wish, you mentioned one earlier, Boogie, Jabari Small, but Gabe Judy Lolly. I wish that Gabe Judy Lolly would have stayed for one more year and helped some of the younger guys, even if it was and this is a little selfish of me as a fan. I wanted him to stay for another year to get better for himself and better his draft stock if he's good enough to get there, but I don't see it. But if he could have just stayed another year, taken some more classes, maybe he'd have found something fun. But he could have helped.
He could have started at Star.
Yeah. He could have helped those younger guys too. I mean, we're talking about not really having a lot of reliable depth in the secondary. You're going to have possibly a freshman who may or may not be Mr. Universe playing the star position, But other than that, and of course, Jermod McCoy, who I forgot earlier, and I'm kind of mad at myself for forgetting that guy because when you dropped that video that he said he was transferring in from O State, I was so over the moon about that. I mean, I almost danced around the office. That was a big thing for me because the secondary was so bad. And yeah, if Gabe Judy Lolly and who else was it? Not Seldon. Jabari Small, if they had stayed, I really do think that they could have gone, on and done some really good things this year. But yeah, what Coach Hypel just said, 15 guys showing out at Pro Day. So even without those two, if they had stayed, you're still looking at over 10 guys, 13 doing Pro Day. And Coach Rice, you're talking about recruits earlier. What a big sell on recruits that we have that many guys doing Pro Day again.
Yeah.
We went into a lull period where, guess what? Eric Berry's one pro, and he might go number one in the draft. But you know what? Other than that, that's right. We don't have anybody else that's going, I mean, it's for a while it was kind of sad. We'd have a couple of really good guys, but that was it. They may as well have gone down the way and done Pro Day at Memphis with their guys.
Didn't matter. Irrelevant. They were irrelevant. They were irrelevant. All right, let's hear what Josh Hypel had to say. You guys tell me if I need to pause.
When you go into a first scrimmage like this, what are you looking for? What's I know playing hard, but beyond playing hard, what's important for you today?
It does start with playing hard. You know, at this point in spring ball, you want your vets to act like vets and play sound football, play penalty free, but go out and execute. You got a lot of young guys inside your program that are getting their first taste of what it means to go play live football. So by any stretch of the imagination, not going to be perfect. But you want to see guys that are going to go make plays. And that's offense, it's defense. We did a lot of good on good in special teams and primarily in punt and punt return. You want to see guys that are putting themselves in a position here that you can start gaining trust in who they are as a player. And you know, when something doesn't go right, too, I think it's important that we see guys that are going to respond the right way. And so a lot of good, a lot of things that we're going to have to learn from today off the video when they come back in tomorrow.
Speaking of that young group, what stood out most with that group today?
He just brought up two excellent points. Older, experienced guys playing mistake-free, even though it's the first few days of spring ball, and special teams. Who's our punter?
Jackson Ross.
Okay. Does anybody know anything about him other than his name? I mean, is he worth anything?
He punted last year for us.
Yeah, he was
okay,
the dude that's lefty righty.
He's the cool guy. That's right. Okay, never mind. Yeah, sorry about that.
No, that's all. I mean, you did make a great point about the older veteran guys being mistake free. That's just, you know, signs of a program being great and where we want the program to be. These guys, they know what is expected of them. They know what the standard is when they come in to play Tennessee football. These older guys, they've been there for a few years. They know what they're supposed to be doing. Now their job is to keep getting better, but at the same time, make sure those younger guys, now they need to know the standard and how to practice winning football. Because those older guys, they've been there, done that. And they know what winning football is about. Now it's getting everybody on the same level of what winning football is. And that's how you install good practice habits. And that's how you get to being a great football program. And that's why Tennessee's on the rise it is.
And that's where you're supposed to be, right? Your upperclassmen are supposed to lead by example. You're not supposed to be going into spring camp with a long snapper playing linebacker because everybody transferred out. And that's what Josh Hypel walked into. Yeah. And that's why it frustrates me when people are like, oh, Hypel's got to be better. Last year wasn't good enough. It's like, man, bro, do you realize where this football team was at when he took over? Do you realize what he's done compared to Butch Jones, Derek Dooley, Jeremy Pruitt, like Lane Kiffin? Like he is the best football coach we have hired since Philip Fulmer. And you may even need to go prior. He may be a better football coach than Phil Fulmer. Is he a better recruiter? I don't know. It was a different era. It was a different time. Philip Fulmer could walk in and show you the power tee, and you would commit.
Yeah.
Josh Hypel doesn't have that luxury. It's a different game. I think he may be the best X's and O's guy we've had since Johnny Majors. Call me crazy.
Ooh. No, you cracked me up.
Yeah, that's some good stuff right there, man.
You cracked me up just then, Boogie. You said you were talking about Coach Fulmer just walking in, showing the power tee. Anytime someone mentions something like that, all I think about is the blind side.
I know, yes, because it's true.
When he walks down to the football. Well, Fulmer's here. I
guess we can it was the reality, though. Yeah. It's the way it was, man.
And then it became a joke, too, on the flip side of that. When they started losing all those good recruits, God, anybody who hasn't seen the Fall of the Vols series, I've watched it a couple times the whole way through, but there's one main theme to, I think it's episode 3, where it really, the wheels start coming off, that became a joke. It used to be that he'd show up, he'd show the Tennessee logo, and he'd get, 3 guys just like that. And they would just be awestruck. And then they'd come and lose 2 games, one of them to Florida, and then the other be the SEC championship, and they'd never really materialize, and then that turned into 13th class, 25th class, 32nd class. We're really building classes with Coach Hypel, and he's done it in such a short time, like you were just saying. And with the X's and O's that he does, even though it's a different game, it really is just about, okay, well, you got the charismatic coach that the kids love. He's good with the X's and O's, so you're going to get the guys, and you've got the guy that's going to get you open downfield. It's beautiful. I can't wait for this season to start. I really can't.
If you missed the Fall of the Vols, go to the Talkin VAWLS YouTube channel. Look at the playlist. Go give it a watch. Does it still hold up, Tom? Does it still hold up?
I just finished watching it for the second time 2 weeks ago. I just had to go back and watch it because there were just things running in my head about this season. Like we're just talking about seniors making no mistakes, just mistake-free ball. You're experienced guys that know what it's like to win. We didn't have that consistency. I was in that stadium watching so many holding calls on older players that cost us a first down, cost us a touchdown, cost us the game. I mean, how many times do y'all remember being there saying, he shouldn't be making that mistake? You go in and play Chattanooga to start the year. Your experienced guys should be out by the first quarter up 28-0 because it's Chattanooga. Yeah. And then just like you're talking about, Coach Rice, you got to get the younger guys in there. You got to shepherd them the right way. You got to show them how to win. And then they have to want to match it because you got to have that dog in you that's like, hey, we got to finish out the game mistake-free too because the seniors just did their thing. And we got NC State next week. And then you go into NC State, you do the whole thing over again, 1-0. I'm so stoked for the year to start.
Yeah. Go back and watch the Fall of the Vols. Go find it on the playlist. The whole theme of it is how did Tennessee go from a national championship in 1998 to 5 coaches in a span of I don't remember how many years, and a lot of hard work went into that. It was like 30, 45-minute episodes. You can go back and give that a watch. Let's hear more from Josh Hypel on Scrimmage number 1.
Yeah, I don't know if there was any just one guy. Mike made a big play down the sideline today, and I thought he competed hard throughout the course of the day. I thought some of our young DBs showed up just tackling in space. As we go through spring ball, those fundamentals are extremely important. But Boo Carter did a great job making plays in space, and some of those guys are consistently showing up day to day as they go through this experience and grow.
Coach Rice, is this sometimes coaches use media appearances to coach, right?
Yeah.
To hype, to correct, to whatever they need to do.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate, he's mentioned Mike Matthews. You said 80. It was 89. 89-yard touchdown. 89-yard touchdown. He mentioned Boo Carter. Yeah. Right out of the chute, he mentions 2 true freshmen. 2 true freshmen. Is he doing that to coach guys up?
Oh, yeah.
Or do you think these guys are ballers?
Well, no, it's both. It's both. Because I know for sure Boo Carter and Mike Matthews are ballers. And a couple of the freshman class, we all have identified that they all have plus side potential. But there's coaching into it. Hey, seniors, a couple of these younger guys that are here showing you up a little bit. You better get your tail in. You're going to get your spot taken. Mm-hmm. So,
when you're on the rise, that's how it should be. Because if you've got seniors and fifth-year seniors even that are getting a really good run from a younger kid, like not that they're prepped and ready to go, but you look at Bennett Warren and William Satterwhite on the offensive line coming in, and I know I'm forgetting somebody that's underrated, Gage Ginther. Underrated guys, but they're a little bit better than the recruits that we would have gotten a few years ago. So, I mean, of course, in theory, their potential top out is a little bit higher. They ought to be doing that. Yeah, absolutely. And it makes you really a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Sticking with the younger guys, you said last week that you really want to feel a sense of urgency with them on the field, and that can kind of be difficult with them coming in so new. What have you seen urgency-wise from them on both sides of the field?
Yeah, just their competitive spirit when they've been out on the practice field. those young guys don't take a back seat to anybody. Individual drills are up in the front of the line.
I love it.
They're constantly pushing to get reps. They've been great inside of the meeting room in the early part of spring ball. They expect themselves to do the right things and be mature, be a vet almost as far as their understanding of the game. And those guys continue to compete in a really good way.
You're right, Coach Price. I think he's taking a shot at his upper
talk about the
classmen
tight
saying,
end position from
you better come compete.
You got a couple of newcomers with Holden and Miles Kitzelman. How are they adjusting to the offense? And Kitzelman seems like a guy who kind of arrived a little later than the rest, and maybe flies under the radar a little bit more. What do you like about him?
Yeah, Miles wasn't here for bowl preparation, but those guys inside of our program, the guys that just got here. Miles and Holden, but Ethan Davis, a young player. All of those guys made plays out there today, but they've been really consistent, in the first 5 practices too. I thought the new guys operated within our offense extremely well for their first time out on the field. Just, there's a certain way you got to play from snap to the echo of the whistle, but then, how we function and operate and communicate offensively. From the whistle, getting themselves lined up, getting in position, being efficient with their movement. I thought they did a really good job here for the first time.
Hey, all right. So that's music to my ears, man. You love hearing that, especially as an office guy. It's just being new guys, Miles Kitzelman and Holden Stage, new guys that's transferred in. You got Ethan Davis that's kind of taking them, under his wing, and yes. They're going to take a rep from him, and he knows that. But at the same time, he knows how physical of a game this is. And then B, it's a 2-3-man system that Coach Hypel runs. There's going to be series where this guy gets a series, this guy gets, and then this guy gets a series. And then one thing that I think Holden Stays and Miles Kitzelman brings that maybe Ethan Davis is maybe not his strongest point is the physicality of it. And Miles Kitzelman, that's one thing that I keep seeing over and over again. Yes, he's a little later coming in, but that's one thing that when they probably recruited him, hey, who's going to be our Jacob Warren this year? Who's going to be that guy? Who's going to be we think Ethan Davis could be the athletic version like Princeton Fan was. Who's going to be that guy that is fine with getting down at the end of the box and pushing a defensive end, blocking him down, washing out the defensive line so our tackle can wrap around and, smash that end or that linebacker. That's the type of players you need. And they identified, they knew who they were going to go get. I think Miles Kitzelman and Holden Stays are 2 perfect fits for this system. And they mirror each other very well. And Ethan Davis is just the guy that's been here. And I think high side and biggest potential. I think Ethan Davis still has the high side and can go out there and be an absolute baller in this system. But it's just so good to know that as long as the injuries don't happen, we got 3 guys, I feel like, going into this year where we've been so limited the last 2 or 3 years with 1 to 2 guys. This year, maybe going into it with 3 guys, and maybe, hey, who knows? Hypel may run out of 2 tight end packages from every once in a while.
Under center, talk to me now.
Oh, I don't know about under center. I don't know about under center. That's pushing it with Coach Hypel, but they still can run 2 tight end packages.
You know what excites me, though, is the culture aspect of that. Because you go back to last year, Jacob Warren, he was a guy that played alongside Princeton Fant, right? And then they bring in Callie, and what does Jacob Warren do with Callie? Takes him under his wing, says, this is what we're going to do. Ethan Davis, meanwhile, has been the young kid waiting in the wings. All right, I'm watching Jacob Warren take Callie under his wing. I'll just sit here and wait my turn. And now it's his time to shine. And what does he do when Holden Stace comes in? He becomes the leader. He takes Holden Stace under his wing and explains the offense to him. And then you mentioned Kitzelman, and he's a guy that VolQuest talked about today after the spring scrimmage. They said he's tight end number 3. He's a guy that is going to contribute this
Yeah.
fall. He's not a depth piece. He is going to contribute, and I think Ethan Davis is he's a dude. I think he's going to make, like you kind of mentioned Princeton Fant. I don't know if he's got that much versatility. I think he's a pass catcher. I think he's a playmaker, but it's just more confirmation of the culture that Josh Hypel has created, right? Somehow you find a way to make Joe Milton support Hendon Hooker and then make Nico support Joe. You've got Jacob Warren supporting Callie. You've got Ethan Davis supporting Holden Stace. Like this is your competition. Like, everybody that comes on the Talkin VAWLS network, we're all pulling in one direction. There's a lot of dudes on YouTube that are pulling in a different direction, but I can still love and support those guys because they're kind of doing the same thing. Sports Talk Jay, I love Sports Talk Jay. He's going to pass me in subscribers one day, and when he does, I'm going to be the first one to text him and say, congrats, man, because you bust your ass, you love this school, and like, shout out to Sports Talk Jay. I love what he does. He works hard. Like, there's enough room for both of us here. And it's amazing what Josh Hypel has done with the culture. Let's get back into it. Let's hear more from Josh Hypel. We got almost 200 people watching live. Appreciate you guys tuning in on this Wednesday night as I'm about to die. Dude, I feel like it's getting worse. Don't worry. Don't worry, we're going to be covering the commitment of Ethan Utley tomorrow, whether it's a live stream or just a video. Make sure you guys are dialed in, tuned in for that. Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, fan call-in show. You guys get to come on, hang out. Make sure those memberships are up to date. If you like the content, the live streams, the videos, the community aspect, whatever you like, whatever reason you're here on this channel, think about hitting that join button down below. You can do it for $1, as little as $1 per month. We would appreciate the support. So let's move on. Let's hear more from Josh Hypel.
What's the status of Cam Seldon, and with his injury, do you look, at least consider looking into the portal for depth at running back?
Yeah, with Cam, unfortunate, just early part of spring ball, had an injury to his shoulder, had surgery on it. We'll kind of evaluate, where we're at as the rehab process gets started and base our decisions off of that and kind of where we project where he's going to be.
Where was Nico's operation today? How comfortable were you with him operating? What did you like that he did? Where would you like to see him go from one scrimmage to the next scrimmage?
Yeah, he's been really good just in practices lead up to it. Being intentional, having conversations, making sure he's getting on the same page with the skill guys, but also with the offensive line growing and bringing energy to that group before driving during the course of it. I thought today, just the way he functioned and operated, controlled, the huddle, controlled. We went into a 4-minute situation at the end, understanding the play clock, game clock, all of that. Just functioned and operated extremely maturely today.
And where
Going
the
back to
first
pro
down
day,
sticks are.
What's the most exciting part about seeing guys that you've coached go through this process?
Yeah, ultimately at the end of it, it's them getting to a franchise and putting the helmet and shoulder pads on and getting a chance to go compete for the, for a job. And it's the next part of their journey. Just, the maturity that our guys have had, and some of the feedback that we've gotten from NFL personnel that's at postseason bowl games, how they've, handled the combine process. Really excited for those guys. Show some of the maturity and some of the things that our coaches are teaching those guys on a consistent basis while they're here in our program. Excited for today just because they get an opportunity for those that, didn't go to the combine to put their next foot forward and put themselves in a position to go where they want to go. So today they're going to have an opportunity to showcase their athletic traits that, guys have already seen, NFL personnel has already seen on the film. So excited to see them go compete today.
Josh, when you're dealing with injuries in spring, it's opportunities for other guys. Going at running back with Cam being out, what have you seen from Khalifa and Deshaun, and how big is the opportunity for them the rest of spring? What did you see from them today?
Yeah, D-Samp's been awesome, just energy, leadership, maturity, understanding of our offense. The young guys continue to take steps forward. Khalifa's done a really nice job. He's been extremely physical, was today as well. I thought he finish going forward all the time. And Deshaun Bishop, young guy that got nicked up last year, just, his growth inside of our program, for him to get back out on the field and showcase his skill set, handled the rehab process extremely well, and love the competition that he's brought. And Wilk and Barnes have done a really nice job.
You mentioned in your opening statement you really liked what you saw from the young DBs. Who stood out to you today?
Yeah, I already mentioned Boo. I thought he
Number
made
two.
plays. John
Number
Slaughter
two.
did a great job today, defending a deep ball down the sidelines. Just ball-me-man relationship and playing a 50-50 ball. Did a nice job on some of the tackles. Excited to go watch the scrimmage here. But Idris Farouk is a young guy that's consistently shown up here in the early part of spring ball too.
That's good.
He is a guy. You can pause it real quick.
Well, I thought that was the end.
That's good to hear.
Well, Idris Farouk is a guy that I think was very underrated. A lot of people don't realize this. He played at literally the highest of highest football competition in high school. He played at the highest level of high school, like the biggest classification there is in the United States, and at a high school. And he was a good football player. He wasn't the highest recruited, but he's been there, done that. He's played very tough competition. And so that doesn't shock me at all for him to come in and, put his best foot forward and say, I'm going to come in and compete. I'm going to get better. But, hey, I'm a freshman, but so what? If I can come in and earn a job, y'all got to take it away from me. I mean, that's what as a coach, that's what you want every player's mentality to be. That's my job. I don't care if you're a 3-year starter or not. I'm going to come in and take that job and try to earn it. Now, is there humbleness and pride that's also, part of it that you, as a young player, you need to, have as well. But me as a player, as a coach, I want every guy to think that spot's open. I'm going to go get it. And so, as a young person, I love seeing that. And that's another guy that we talked about, Boogie. He's calling out freshmen. Why do you think he's calling out freshmen? Those seniors need to. You better watch your backs. These guys are young and talented. They're maybe a little faster than you.
It's something
and that's
Coach
saying
Halsley,
something
Coach
too.
Halsley mentioned talking about Nico. He said last year Nico was kind of reserved because he didn't want to overstep his bounds. When you talk about being humble, he didn't want to take over as a leader when he knew it was Joe's team. Joe was the leader. So Nico was just kind of minding his P's and Q's, and now Nico's trying to take that next step as a vocal leader. And we're hearing that, right? We're hearing about that in practice where he's pulling guys to the side. Tom, you were about to say something. Say what you want to say and tie a big bow on this thing, and we're going to wrap up tonight's show.
I was just going to say it speaks a lot to the young freshmen if they're coming in on defense and doing stuff like that. I mean, defense is already hard enough to play because you don't know what the play is. You're reacting to everything.
Yeah.
If you can read and react like that as a freshman coming in playing from the top level of high school ball, that's great. You're going to Tennessee to play against Georgia and Alabama, and you're going to be practicing against Mike Matthews and Squirrel White and a bunch of guys that are top-tier dudes. And just being able to do that is, or get mentioned at least because you're doing that well, that's something.
I think that's the takeaway. That's the takeaway from the scrimmage. Coach Rice has hit on it multiple times. Are they calling out the upperclassmen saying, you're on notice? Coach Garner saying it 4 practices in. What do you mean guaranteed playing time? Nobody's guaranteed anything. When you start recruiting elite level talent, everybody's on notice. Everybody has an opportunity. That's the beautiful thing. That's why I think Josh Hypel is starting to turn the corner. Still needs to take another step. I think you've got to go have success in 2024, and you've got to bring in a top 10, at least at the bare minimum, a top 10 class in the class of 25. I think they have potential to be top 5, top 3. But we're going to keep you guys updated on that. We'll start tomorrow with Ethan Utley, 4-star defensive lineman, coming off the board. Is he Eval? Is he going to Texas? I'm feeling confident. We'll have it covered for you.
Going to Tennessee Junior. He is not doing it. He's coming. Tennessee.
We'll have you covered right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. If he announces the time, make sure you're following us on all forms of social media. You can follow me at Boogie Bentley. Shoot me a friend request on Facebook. It's just under Boogie Bentley. I'll let you guys know if we're going live. Hopefully, my voice is going to be ready to go tomorrow. But if not, I'll find a way. We will find a way. Shout out to Coach Rice. Shout out to Rocky Top Tom. First time. What do you guys think? Y'all giving Tom a thumbs up, or are you giving him
thank you.
thumbs down? You guys can decide. We're gonna try to fit him into the rotation this upcoming fall. I feel like Coach Hypel. I'm like, I got all this talent. I got to figure out who's the best, who's the A team, who's the B team. We want to bring you guys the best coverage possible. But that is going to do it for this one. Appreciate y'all, all you guys that drop the super chats, you guys that pick up the merchandise, the members of the channel. That's what allows me to do this full time, and I cannot thank you enough, man. I'm grateful for you guys. But for Coach Rice, for Rocky Top Tom, my name is Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.
That we call